There's your marker there, right between.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, okay. TP चला देना. New Zealand have made it 2 wins out of 2 in the 2023 ODI World Cup with a comprehensive 99-run victory over the Netherlands. The Kiwis were able to comfortably defend the 322-run score in Hyderabad and are gaining some real momentum in the tournament. To discuss that clash, as always, we are joined by our cricket expert, Dav Whatmore. Dav, the 322 runs just proved to be too much for the Dutch in the end.
Well, it was always going to be, in my opinion. I thought they responded in a way that I expected. It was another good experience in terms of playing in a World Cup match against a good opposition.
Yeah.
And the Kiwis keep rolling along.
Yeah, well, now we have to talk about Mitchell Santner. He was definitely the player of the match. I mean, he scored those 36 runs in the end that took New Zealand to a formidable total. And, of course, those 5 wickets.
Yeah, he did, and he's the leading wicket taker as well.
Yeah.
So here he is, 5 for 59, and that icing on the cake in the last 2 overs, he really belted them. So, that was a very valuable contribution today. But again, that was a contribution that we all expected, to happen, or the result to happen. But well done on Mitchell Santner. He's showing an early leader of form, and he thoroughly deserves his leading of the wicket takers.
Yeah, as I remember you saying once that the game changer of the match, like for example, we don't see Mitchell Santner in this stat, but his contribution was really something.
Well, that's right. I mean, it gave you more of a psychological advantage to get over that 300 mark with a real heavy push to get there. So while his name doesn't appear on that left-hand side column with the batters, look, to me, it was a wonderful little cameo at the end.
Yeah. Well, the Dutch, I mean, obviously, they in that first match against Pakistan, they had some, reason to sort of be encouraged. But in this match, do you think they'll take some positives?
Well, yes and no. Again, they got nothing to lose. Every game they play is another opportunity to walk away after the tournament, having played 9 good matches, competition that they crave for, any associate country would crave for. So, and they've got another 7 games to go. And as I said, there are some youngsters there who I'm sure one of these games will really stand up and show the world that, geez, I'm a Netherlands player, and I'm as good as, a full member country. And that's what I think they should be aiming at, Well, and they could nick a win too, by the way.
Yeah. In that first match, of course, it was Bastelin, and now in this match, you have to say that standout performer was Colin Ackerman.
Ackerman, that's right. Yeah, he was involved in a horror mix-up in the run-out, but he really did play pretty well, and he too can string together a little bit of form, 2 or 3 innings together. It'll be good for him, good for the Netherlands. Yeah,
well, coming back to New Zealand there, Dav, what really set the platform for this win was their batting. Now, it was in complete contrast to sort of their win over England in that first match, where we saw Conway and Ravindra just go absolutely berserk. But here, you had contributions from most of their batting lineup and 3 half centuries. That just tells you that they are sort of now getting in the groove for the tournament, the rest of the players as well.
Well, that's right. There was some valuable occupation of the crease by some of the other guys that didn't get a chance in the first match. So from that point of view, it was good to spend a bit of time out in the middle. And, particularly for Will Young, who missed out, very unlucky in that first game.
And the top scorer in this match for the Kiwis.
That's right. He was strangled down the leg side for a first or second ball duck in the first match. But it was good that he, a bit of pressure on him too, because we all know the captain will be coming back very soon. The young Rachin Ravindra, he was the one coming in on late notice, and he's just, taken that opportunity with both arms.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of pressure on Will Young.
Yeah.
And he came through. You would have loved 100, and he certainly had plenty of time to get it, but sadly he missed out. But yeah, he batted very well.
Yeah, and also the way they built their innings. If we remember, we were watching this match, and the first 3 overs were maidens, and the ball wasn't really coming onto the bat, but they bided their time, and in the end, you saw a bit of resilience from the Kiwi batting lineup.
That's right. They play according to the situation, according to the pitch surface, regardless of who the opposition is. You play the ball. If you're playing a really, really good, strong bowling opposition, you still play the ball. You don't play the person or the bowler, the man. You play the ball. And in this case, they did that as well, and they triumphed.
Yeah, let's take a look at their innings progression now. Overs 1 to 10. Of course, those first 3 overs were maidens, but they picked up the pace and ended up scoring 63.
That's right. And then the second phase was their lowest.
3.9 runs per over.
Yeah, with the field spread, you'd think they'd be able to knock the ball and turn over the strike more often, but it went down by nearly 20 runs. So, they played according to the merit of the ball, and the merit of the ball was good in that 10-over block.
Yeah.
But they only lost 1 wicket.
Yeah, and another telling stat, they lost 4 wickets in the last 10 overs, but of course the 8.4 runs per over, and that's all Mitchell Santner there.
Yeah, that's right. If you have some wickets in hand, what normally happens in that last 10 overs is that you will have the bulk of the wickets falling in that 10 overs, because it's very intense. Everyone's going for the runs to try and scramble as many as they can get, and provided you got wickets in hand, you're going to have a high run rate, which is what that was today, and that's the normal trend, provided you got some wickets in hand.
Okay, Dav, New Zealand are in a very, very strong position, and now remember, Kane Williamson hasn't played yet, Tim Southee hasn't played yet, and their next 2 matches are against Bangladesh and Afghanistan, which you would say are very much winnable for them. They are really gaining some real momentum heading into the tournament.
Yeah, you'd expect them to win, but the next 2 games are in Chennai.
Yeah.
And if that surface is anything like what we saw last night, yesterday, then I figure that the leg spinner Ish Shodhi surely has to come into the team. And when he does, then there's another decision to be made. Whose place does he take? And the captain coming in with the batsman, whose place does he take? So there we are, 2 wins, 2 played, 2 wins, and a very healthy net run rate.
Yeah, and obviously only the Netherlands have played, only New Zealand and Netherlands have played 2 games, but obviously that's where the Kiwis want to be. Well, the question is if they are going to be at the top of the table come the end of the tournament. Now, you spoke about Rachin Ravindra, Dav. Now, Ravindra, you weren't very impressed with his bowling in the previous match, but he had some tidy figures today. 1 wicket.
Overall, I thought it was better.
Yeah.
And he's got tremendous potential. I'm not knocking the guy. I think he'll be a wonderful, wonderful all-rounder for New Zealand, and he's got all the ingredients. He'll need a little bit more time to become that consistent left arm orthodox spinner. But I tell you what, he's going to be a beauty because he can field as well, and he's got the package. Really good. He's got plenty of years ahead of him. He's only 23, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just final question on the Dutch, Dav. What have we learned so far about them, and what do you think should be their game plan going ahead in this tournament?
What I've seen with the Netherlands, they win the toss, they bowl on a surface under the sun, hoping that it'll grip a little bit, and they started well against Pakistan, and to a lesser degree they started well against New Zealand. First 3 overs were maidens, no wicket. But during the course of that power play block, the first 10 overs, after the 3rd over, there was a little bit of, freebies. not as good. So, you know, they ended up scoring 60 odd, didn't they? 60, whatever it was, in the first 10. 63 for no wicket. So, you know, that 3 overs, and that was done over 7 overs.
Yeah.
So what does that say? 7 into 63, 7 nines are 63. Oof. 9 runs and over. Yeah. So they were a little guilty in giving away some runs after that beautiful 3 over start. So look, you know, they win the toss. They obviously prefer to chase simply because they feel it's a little bit easier. The wicket settles down and it's a bit easier to negotiate those opposition balls. You know, that's what I feel, and it's not a bad ploy, but they're getting criticised a little bit for them because, hey, it's a lovely afternoon, the sun's out, it's a good seeing day. Why don't you win the toss and bat? Are you too scared to you know, to bat for fear of getting bowled out for 110 or something?
So they need to take some risks.
Yeah, that's a little bit harsh. You know, I've heard that a couple of times. But I feel that every game they play, they're getting good experience, and I can see them, you know, improving over the years to come.
Okay, it's time for our segment, No More with Whatmore. Of course, you can keep firing your questions on our social media platforms. We've got some interesting ones here. Kunal asks, Mitch Santner crediting Jadeja for his great bowling form. His stint at CSK is benefiting him and New Zealand. Do you think IPL is helping teams to perform well in the World Cup?
Well, the IPL is certainly assisting individuals who play in that tournament to come back to their country, to their teams, and perform in the World Cup for sure. You know, it's a long tournament, the IPL. And they get some really good experience playing in different grounds and different conditions. IPL is played primarily under lights, but this tournament is day-night, so you know, they will draw on their experience in the Indian you know, cricket season to apply for their teams. And
the IPL and the World Cup, IPL lasts for about a little less than 2 months, and same with the World Cup. So they're used to playing long tournaments in India as well.
Right, exactly. And they can, another point I was going to make was they can also pass on that experience to the younger guys.
Yeah.
You know, what to look forward to, what are the pitfalls, you know, the wickets will probably play like this. You know, there's a bit of dew in this ground, be careful, all that stuff. It's really good to, you know, hand me down. It's the information that is passed on to youngsters that can accelerate their development.
So as a follow-up question to this, Dav, do you think the IPL, because there are so many players, foreigners who are now playing in India, do you think that has removed, say, the home advantage as the host country?
To a lesser extent, I think. I did say the other day that, yes, by playing in India more often, you get a bit more of an idea of conditions in the country. I did also say that teams like Australia get invited. They've been to India a little bit more often than not, and India goes to Australia as well, reciprocal. But generally speaking, yes, there is an increased awareness of the conditions, but not like the locals. The Indian team, they're brought up on this, you know, from, you know, they're under 23, which is now under 25, to their senior, you know, squads that play in the 3 different formats. And they've been playing this for quite a while, so it'll, you know, it's not the same as being a homegrown player.
Yeah, well, okay, we have another comment here. Umay says the stability, balance, versatility and flexibility of the Kiwis makes them strong contenders for this World Cup. Well, all of those words you will have to associate with the Kiwis so far in this tournament. The 2 wins that they've had have showed different sides of their game.
They look fit, don't they?
Yeah.
I think they're an athletic, physical, fit team that backs it up with a bit of skill. And they got depth, they got good spinners, or good spinner. The other guy's getting improving. Ish Sodhi is yet to come back in, and you got also the captain, who is a terrific player to come back in. They're in a good place at the moment, you know, and the next 2 games, whilst you would think on paper they'll win, they're up against like an Afghanistan who's got, their attack revolves around spin, and they're good spinners. So New Zealand will be tested in Chennai, and it won't be easy. But on paper, of course, New Zealand, no problem. But the surface at Chennai would suggest it's going to be a little bit harder to achieve that victory, and they'll have to rejig their 11 to suit the conditions.
Okay, another name that we saw who made his sort of tournament debut, playing his first match of the tournament, was Lockie Ferguson.
Oh, right.
Yeah. What did you make of his performance? He didn't take a wicket.
No, he didn't. It was good to get back into the competition for him. He certainly had a bit of pace. I saw one of his overs was 142 to 144 to 145, so 6 balls pretty quick, and some of those batsmen were hopping around a little bit, and the ball hit the bat really hard too. So I think it's good for him to have a hit out today, and it'll do him the world of good going forward.
Okay. Ambika says, it's not just the wins, it's the margin of the wins that is making the Kiwis quietly hot favourites in yet another ICC tournament. Hot favourites, well, not quite sure yet. Obviously, only 2 games have gone yet.
Let's just say warm.
Yeah.
It's warming up for them, But this was a game that I'm sure everybody would expect New Zealand to win. And they did what was expected of them.
Yeah. Well, we did put out a poll on our social media platforms. Maybe it's early days in the tournament, but we did ask our viewers, will New Zealand win the Cricket World Cup? What do you think the viewers think about that?
Oh, gee. I think some of them will say, yeah, of course. After seeing what they did to England, I'd say there's a fair percentage would say, yes, they can. And I would say it's a possibility. But I'm, again, asking for an extension of time. But if I was to predict what's on your phone, I would say that more than 50% would be saying yes.
Well, Dav, you'd be surprised that mostly people actually agree with you. It's early days. So only 33.3% have said yes, and 66.7% still believe there is time in the tournament, so they've answered with a no.
I'm glad to hear that.
So
Saturday prevails.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we have another poll. Will the Netherlands win a game at the 2023 World Cup? I think they can definitely come away with a couple of victories.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they need to play on good pitches.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they play Afghanistan. If they play Afghanistan in Chennai, there, it's going to be very difficult for them. If they play Afghanistan on a surface which is a good true surface and they bat second, chance.
Yeah. Well, obviously they're making their ODI World Cup return after a long time, playing for the first time since 2011. But as you said, this big tournament experience will definitely help them going forward. And of course, playing against Pakistan, New Zealand, there are positives to take from them. They've, sort of stuck to their game plan. Hasn't quite worked out, but obviously positives to take for them.
Surely, and I'm very pleased for them. And they really did deserve to be here by playing some wonderful cricket in the qualifiers.
Okay, Dav, there's another match at the same ground tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that is Pakistan versus Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that clash. Now, obviously, Pakistan and Sri Lanka both sort of began their campaign in contrasting fashion. Pakistan with that victory over the Netherlands, and Sri Lanka in that absolute, ridiculous run fest against South Africa. I think, how do you think both teams will approach this match?
Both teams are really keen to get points again. I mean, Sri Lanka need to get some on the board, and Pakistan are just so keen to continue that winning formula. And they were beaten in the Asia Cup by Sri Lanka just recently, so they'll be pretty keen to even up the score. I think this is a game that both teams feel they can win.
Yeah.
it's played at the same venue, so the preparation of that pitch, nothing done on it today.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, so what Sri Lanka and Pakistan are watching this game. So watching this game, what did they learn about the pitch? Will it, be a bit different tomorrow? Back-to-back games on the same pitch?
I think what they should learn is that there will be periods on this surface where it becomes a little tough.
Yeah.
And as long as you're prepared to get through that tough period, there's plenty of runs on offer. We've got 320 runs today, but the last 20-odd runs came in a hurry. But, I would think that they need to engineer that 300 runs a little bit better during the course of that 50 overs. So there will be periods where it's tough for the batsmen. Both sides will be able to apply sufficient pressure to probably keep the phases, one of those phases to about 35 to 40, maybe 42. But if you're able to to negotiate that without too much damage, then I think it's another 300. But they didn't do too much work on that pitch today.
Okay.
So in the morning they'll have to do maybe a little bit of spray and then roll it, and it'll still be hot, I guess. So it'll dry out. It'll be similar, I reckon. Similar.
Yeah. Okay, Dav, talking about Sri Lanka, their bowlers took an absolute mauling against South Africa. But do you think they'll take some consolation by the fact they got past that 300-run mark? Their batters weren't quite in form heading into the tournament.
Yeah.
So do you think that they will be encouraged by that batting display?
Surely, yeah, I think so. We said that before, that the positives that they would have got from that was that they didn't give up. They didn't just lay down and die. That was a bit of a fight there. One or two of the boys, got out for low scores. Yeah. But when you're chasing a big total like that, there's not a lot of time to get set before you put your foot on the gas. So, Kushal Mendes, wonderful effort again to get a lot of runs in a very short period of time. And also Asalanka, the lefty, who missed out on the first game. Not the first, in their practice matches. He did very well, very well in that match against South Africa. And for me, the big one is the captain. Yeah, the captain finally showed the value and the potential he's got to really, flex the muscles. Yeah. And whack that ball all over the place. And he likes India, I think. He loves coming here. He seems to do well in India.
Okay, Dav, now it's time to talk about your key battles that you have picked out for that class.
Okay, fine. But I was going to make mention of this Thikshana. Yeah. This Thikshana boy, he didn't play that first game. Yeah. I'm expecting him to play. And he figures in my first battle here because this guy can bowl in the power play. And Fakhar Zaman, who is searching for runs, he'll be looking for something. He'll spend a lot of money to buy some runs if he can. And that this fella here can be a thorn in him to get the left-hander out. So I think there will be a time where he will bowl to the opening batsman. Yes. So that's one battle I reckon will happen.
The next one, who have you picked out?
I had Babar Azam, the right-hander, who also will be looking to really make amends from the previous game. He got out when he shouldn't have, and he would love to just now, make a stamp on this game. He'll have to negotiate, I think, some pace where he bats. So this fella here I like him. He's got deceptive pace. He can move the ball, and he'll make batsmen hurry. And I just felt that maybe Babar Azam will need to be on his guard for this guy.
And there's a bit of pressure on Babar Azam, captain of the team. Now this is the tournament, the World Cup, that everyone is looking at him to sort of lead that Pakistan side out and make that winning contribution. So
there's always a bit of pressure, Vidur, and especially as captain, and you missed out in the first game, but I think he's good enough. Yeah, he's good enough. Third one here is Mohammad Rizwan, who is one of my favourite players as well. Just a diminutive little fella, But gee, you know, he packs a punch. A lot of the smaller players in the world, good batsmen.
And of course, he
batsman.
Made a very valuable contribution in that first match against the Netherlands. He, along with Saud Shakil, you know, without those half centuries, Pakistan
they rescued him, right? They rescued him. So this fellow is very agile. He's very fidgety. He's busy player, and he's got shots all over the ground. So the left arm spinner, I think, was going to be asked to do a job for this guy. So I'm expecting Dunith, who is a good young player but inexperienced at the moment. But he should learn. He should learn quickly, and he could be.
In the Asia Cup, we saw, you know, he has that sort of mystery spinner feel about him. You know, Sri Lanka seem to keep producing these
mysteries.
Spinning gems. And what have you made of him so far?
Yeah, look, well, I just felt what I saw in Sri Lanka is very accurate. You know, and sadly he was a bit short early on. He got absolutely pumped, and then that pitch was so good in Delhi. Even a good ball was being driven either over the top or through the field for boundaries. So that was a tough assignment for anybody bowling on that pitch. And I just think his potential is to have accuracy when he bowls. So he'll need to do that tomorrow.
Okay, who have we gone for next?
All right, Kushal Perera, I'll put him in there because you know, he's one guy. They preferred Perera to Karunaratne because of the attacking approach he brings to the game, and he didn't really do much in the first game, which can happen. But I just felt that they may persevere with him instead of just, you know, looking elsewhere for to open the batting. So and he's dangerous, you know. So I'm sure that the Pakistanis would be discussing, like they do all the players, and they'd be targeting this fellow to begin with, because he can be very destructive.
Okay, time for your final battle. Who have you gone for? Kusal Mendes versus Haris Rauf. Haris Rauf was obviously Pakistan's best bowler in that first match against the Netherlands. He's got that, he just hits the deck really hard.
He's got bowls with a lot of heart, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just a very physical, old-fashioned run-up and grunt effort. He just gives effort every ball, and I love that, you know. And this fella here is their main batsman. He's been their best batsman, you know, of recent times. So definitely they're going to target this guy. I'm not sure about the short one either, because he likes the short ball. It's going to be...
And we know Haris Rauf likes bowling those bouncers.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to bowl back of a length, back of a length, back of a length, you know, get him on the back foot, back foot, back foot, and then maybe pitch one up, and then because you're expecting it on the back foot, the hands go before the feet go. And that may be
a little bit of variation, unpredictability.
Well, maybe the slower bouncer, maybe a cutter or two, but essentially that philosophy of back of a length, back of a length, back of a length, where the batsmen go back, and then the odd one pitched up. And if the feet don't go first and the hands go first, then you're in no position to play it properly, and it could result in a nick behind. Okay,
Dav, now these are two subcontinental teams, and obviously they will be playing in Hyderabad. And
I had one more, actually.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I had one more. I threw in this fella here because he looked threatening. He looked like he's turning the corner to get runs for Sri Lanka, and he's the captain. So, you know, Hassan Ali's got wonderful changes of pace.
Yeah.
That's one of his strengths, and I really love the way he executes that. And to stop a guy with a good swinging arc is to fool his swinging arc by bowling a little bit slower and cutters. So I thought that might be worth putting up.
Yes, final battle there. Hopefully for Sri Lanka, Shanaka can continue sort of scoring that runs. Much needed, you know, half century for him in that game against South Africa. I wanted to ask you, Dav, seeing how the pitch behaved today, seeing two, you know, high quality teams tomorrow. Today we saw a very different match with a high quality team in New Zealand against an associate nation. But what score do you think in Pakistan versus Sri Lanka will be a winning total?
Yeah, I'm still looking at, you know, the high 200s, probably, you know, close to 300. If a team bowls badly, then they're going to get hurt. It's a very fast outfield, not that big. So I'm thinking, close to 300, yeah.
Okay, Dav, thanks as always for your valuable insight. New Zealand have made it 2 wins out of 2, and they are gaining some serious momentum. And lots of people now have them as candidates to win the World Cup, which wasn't the case heading into the tournament. And of course, we'll be bringing you all the action from Pakistan versus Sri Lanka, which is the second clash tomorrow. That's it from this edition of WION World of Cricket.